Hello and welcome to the Women Today podcast. Here you'll find the highlights of the past week, and from burlesque to bra dashes, it's been a busy one. Now we're going to turn our attention to the United States of America, and as I'm sure you may have already heard, Hillary Clinton has the White House in her sights again after confirming that she will seek the Democrats' nomination for President of the United States. Mrs. Clinton has released a short video which sets out her main objective.
I'm running for president. Americans have fought their way back from tough economic times, but the deck is still stacked in favor of those at the top. Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion.
Well, the former Secretary of State and First Lady lost out in 2008 to Barack Obama. This time, he's giving her his backing. If Hillary Clinton makes it to the White House, she's going to become America's first female leader. These people in New York are supporting her bid.
I think she's an awesome woman with experience. She has that it that's going to make the difference. She's going to drive it home.
She's worked very hard to get to where she's at, and I believe there should be a woman president. It's time already.
So what do people in the Isle of Man think? Bethany Haller was born in New Jersey and lived in 9 different US states. She's a self-proclaimed conservative feminist. She now lives in Laxey and is a lecturer at the Isle of Man College. Kate spoke to her earlier and first asked Bethany for her thoughts on the Clinton announcement.
I wasn't surprised at all. Hillary Clinton has been involved in US politics for, forever it seems like. And there was always kind of rumor when her husband was president that she would eventually seek a nomination for the presidency in due course. I know that she did try to get the Democratic ticket, but she lost out to Barack Obama on the Democratic ticket. So I think that was kind of her, if you will, announcement, but just a few years earlier than probably she would have liked it to have been.
Now, you are a Republican in the American sense of the word. If you were in America now, you would vote for the Republican Party.
Yes, and I have to say selfishly so. Not because I necessarily believe in all of their political views. I'm actually a registered independent. However, I do normally vote Republican to benefit my family, primarily still in the U.S., so it doesn't directly affect me here. However, over here, I tend to vote my moral conscience more than a particular theme or idea.
So I think it's fair to say, due to that then, you differ from Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party with your vote. But do you think it's important women are represented on the ticket, that we do see women going for what is considered one of the most powerful positions politically in the world? Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, I separate my, if you will, American political views from my feminist views, let me say. Absolutely. You may or may not be aware, but in 1984, there was a woman on Geraldine Ferraro who was on the Democratic ticket. She and Walter Mondale, he was running for president on the Democratic ticket. They lost to the Reagan-Bush Conservative Party, but that started. So women in powerful positions in America, i.e., either vice president or president, started, at least as far as I know of, and I am old, but I guess maybe not that old, it started in 1984. So absolutely, I do believe that there are issues that pertain to women per se that, only a woman has an insight into. Yes, there are women on cabinets and so forth to provide advice, but I do feel as though women do have a unique perspective, but also that women are not truly represented in politics worldwide, I would say, as they should be.
American politics is one of the most influential political scenes in the world. Do you think people like Hillary Clinton and the other women that you've mentioned, they send out a message across the world?
Yes, I do. So I think the fact that she has put her name in the hat, if you will, again, and maybe she will be elected, I do think it sends a strong message to the world.
Do you think Hillary Clinton will get the nomination?
It depends upon who else runs for the Democratic ticket, but I think she has a very, very strong chance to. Yes, but I say for all the women in the world, girl power, and only time will tell.
That's Bethany Haller, an American living in the Isle of Man. Sounds a little bit like a song, that, doesn't it? Do you know, as soon as that music started, our guest just couldn't stop moving. We are joined in the studio today by burlesque dancer and teacher Rachel Crellin. Now, you're otherwise known as Miss Dee.
That's correct.
Where did that nickname come from?
Miss Dee started off as Dirty Diana, which was it was a homage to my mum because she looks very much like Princess Diana, and also a homage to Michael Jackson's first ever cool rock song. But then it sort of lost its irony over the years, and people thought I was literally like grubby or whatever. So I changed it, and I love the character Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory, and I think it's quite cute.
So is Miss Dee Dee a character?
Yes, absolutely. She's everything that I would want to be, or have wanted to be, or whatever, in a caricature.
Now, we're talking about burlesque. What actually is it? How can you describe it for us?
It's a really... it's the art of tease nowadays, but it used to be a satire. Like the meaning of the word is a parody. It's like a mockery of something very serious. And it's turned into the art of tease from basically the funniest element of way back when it was risque in the 1800s to show your ankle, so girls used to show their ankle on stage, and everyone would be laughing and stuff. So in a nutshell, the art of tease, definitely. Now,
you said it's been around for hundreds of years, effectively. Where did it actually come from?
It's a good question. There's the history books, kind of England, I think. Shakespeare has referenced burlesque troupes did the parody satire of his plays, and he loved it, and it was extra promotion for his stuff and all the rest of it. And then as it's come through, there's been a few moments in history. I don't know whether it's because I'm British that I just look at the British things, but there was a troupe in the late 1800s that took it, the British Blondes. There's a woman called Lydia Thompson, and she was a theatre actress, very good one. Her mum and dad owned a theatre in London, and she took this troupe across, and then it just became really big. So I'm hoping the UK.
And that's interesting, isn't it? Because people from Britain are generally known to be quite reserved, and it's not reserved, is it?
No, it's not. It's not at all.
And it is becoming increasingly more popular these days. Why do you think that is?
I think it's people are starting to realise that it is empowering, and it's okay to feel good about yourself, and this British thing that that you shouldn't feel good about yourself and you should stay humble and stuff, and that's all true. But it's also nice to believe in yourself and push yourself out there as well.
So how do you feel about yourself?
Personally, I think I'm quite humble in my day-to-day life, but on stage it's just great to be whoever I want to be.
And when you are performing, you're on the stage, who is it that you're performing for? Is it for the audience, or is it more for yourself?
Depends what kind of show it is, as in like the actual piece that I'm doing. So if I do a fan dance, I do it for myself. It's because there's lots of elegant movements and stuff. But if it's a comedy, then it'll be fully to the audience, and out there. And are you getting this? Are you getting it? And just making sure that they are.
Isn't it just basically classy stripping?
Dita Von Teese doesn't mind being called a stripper. She really doesn't. And I think that yes. But it depends. Lap dancing, stripping, that is obviously completely different. So this is a theatrical based. Usually there's a narrative, there's a storyline, and you want the audience to get involved in the story of what you're doing, as opposed to the nakedness.
Who is your audience?
Um,
Who do you tend to perform for?
Whoever will have us.
What's really interesting though is that you're very clear that you don't perform at stag parties. Why?
Yes. Just because it's the wrong audience, it's the wrong type of thing. Obviously there is an obvious reason why they would want that there, but I think that it's not received in the right way that it should be if I was to do that, you know.
Now, we heard at the beginning of the programme that you've got a bit of a thing for vintage underwear. Is that what you wear when you're performing?
I create pieces, actually. Me and my mum. My mum's a very good seamstress. So we will usually get something new and try and make it look old, or you have to wear the right things for you as well, you know. So we usually create them. We start with something little and then make it big.
Is there any room left in your underwear drawer?
In my show room, there's no room, no.
Please tell me though that you've still got that grubby old pair of pants that you sometimes wear.
Yeah.
It's not always matching. This really isn't for the self-conscious, I would say, is it?
It is if you want to get not self-conscious. So if you're a female and you know that you've got quite a lot to give in terms of confidence, but you're not sure, it's a great thing to be able to know a routine and dance in front of the mirror and feel like, you know, you are great for 5 minutes.
What sort of reaction do you get from people when they find out what you do?
Mixed reactions. Women love it. You know, 80% of our audience are female, and I really appreciate that. I think that proves that, you know, it's not for a stag do. It's you know, it's for people who just appreciate pretty things, you know, pretty outfits and stuff.
I'm going to ask you a very personal question now, so apologies. Do you perform for your partner?
My partner, Richard. Hi, Richard.
Should I not have asked?
I'm guessing by the nervous giggling.
Just move on.
Hi, Richard.
Just last weekend, viewers of Britain's Got Talent were treated to, I think they were called the Ruby Red Performers, which is basically a group of women aged between 25 and 65. They shocked the judges with their comedy burlesque performance. And the dance leader said when they started, the women wouldn't even show their collarbones. On Saturday night, they were broadcast into millions of homes in nipple tassels.
Absolutely,
and basically said that the confidence had gone through the roof.
Yeah, it's the movements, you know. You have to keep your posture tall, and you have to, and it's like repetitive motion. So you go in and you're training in that, you're doing that, you're having fun with the girls around you all the time, and it's a big mixture of things that would build your confidence to that level.
Now we're asking, at what age should you have a baby, and are you ever too old? Well, that's the question today, as a 65-year-old is reportedly due to give birth to quadruplets. Annegret Ranuk is a German primary school teacher. She's said to be in her 21st week of pregnancy and she's feeling fit, she says. If her pregnancy progresses as hoped, she's going to be the oldest woman to give birth to quadruplets, but not actually the oldest mother in the world. That official record is held by a Spanish woman who gave birth to twins in 2006 at the age of 66. Now, Kate, you've been talking to Dr. John about this, haven't you?
I have indeed. And he says there are a lot of complexities here, including social, medical, psychological, ethical, and he says we could spend an hour discussing each one. But he says the short answer is that 20 to 35 is the best age range to be pregnant in the medical sense of it. He says the reasons include, firstly, that fertility definitely reduces after 35, so it is harder to get pregnant. More chance of the mother becoming unwell as she gets older. Your skeleton becomes less flexible, blood pressure is higher, slight increased chance of strain on the heart and kidneys and the like. He also says there's an increasing chance of fetal and developmental abnormalities in the baby when the mother is over 35, and it increases year on year after that. And of course, there's a higher rate
of miscarriage over 35.
But the fact is, it is medically possible. We keep hearing about these stories. So are you ever too old to have a baby? Jo, you were pretty young when you had yours.
I was quite young. When I had my first, I suppose, I was just 26. And I have to say that my children quite enjoy having a young mum at this moment. They do enjoy it, and they've also made note of it. And they've told me that, they wouldn't want me to have a baby now, for instance, because they feel that I would possibly be too old. And, for that child, but that's their point of view. Obviously, they're only young. What I feel sorry for, and I think looking at this, is the long-term effect. If you have a child over the age of 30, well, look at this lady, 65-year-old. What are the chances that she's going to see her grandchildren? That to me is quite sad, I feel, for her children. So it's not just thinking about it from a mother's point of view, but also what about the child? How is it going to be for her or him?
I think it's difficult, isn't it? And I think it's harder to think of a woman who has tried to have a baby and perhaps ends up having a baby with medical help, IVF or whatever, later in life. It would be very hard to turn around and say to that person, no, you're too old, if that's all she's ever wanted. We're talking about a woman here who apparently has got a number of other children. She caused controversy. I think she had a child at the age of 55. I don't know. I mean, in some ways, I feel that maybe she's taking away a chance of a younger woman potentially maybe having a baby. I don't know.
I just don't think it's for us ever to tell a grown-up woman what she can and can't do with her own body. I don't think we should be dictating when it's up to you. It's your body and your choice.
It completely is your choice, and we're not here to say that. From my perspective now, I would say that I'm much more relaxed now, and I think that if I had a baby today, forget the physical aspects, the health aspects, but the mental state I'm in now is a lot more relaxed. I'm a lot more chilled out to actually have this child that, I kind of sit on the fence slightly with it.
But then I know 18 and 19-year-olds who are far more mature than 50, 60-year-old women that I know. So it goes the other way too.
But I think the unfairness is that, as Jo says, you're more likely to be in a better position in certain areas as you get older. Financially, you're probably better off. You might have more of a support network and people around you potentially. I don't know. Bill, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I was 35 when my daughter was born, which was a lovely...
Very young.
I was only a boy, and and I think I agree with you there, Jo. That being a little bit more mature, I was very relaxed. I think I'm always been pretty chilled out anyway. Even if I'd had a child when I was younger, I think I would have been the same. But I think when you're that bit older, you're a bit wiser, and also you can point them in the right direction. And my daughter's, she's a lovely girl. She's nice and relaxed herself, and I hope maybe the fact that I was a bit more mature has made her be a slightly better girl. I think so.
I can totally understand the argument, that is it fair to bring a child into the world when you know that you're probably not going to see them grow up. As Jo said, you're probably not going to see grandchildren. But, surely that could be argued at any age. There are no guarantees.
Absolutely. There aren't any guarantees. And I think I worry that I'd get into a really good dark place if I start thinking it's all going to end terribly anyway. So...
I just don't think I'd want to go through the whole pregnancy at my age now, being over 40. I just can't imagine actually... I feel a bit more tired now, so I can't imagine getting up in the middle of the night with a newborn baby. It must be so tough. I admire the women that have the baby over 40.
Well, this has generated a number of comments from you. Al says, I'm sorry, too old, not fair on the child that might lose a mother in old age before the child becomes an adult. When says, what a selfish woman, not thinking about the child. Hannah says, I think a normal menopause, not due to medical problems, is the natural time to stop having babies. Being pregnant and having small children is hard work. And Carol says, I can appreciate a woman wanting a child, but think about that child. My mum was 40, my dad was nearly 50 when I arrived. They met later in life, so couldn't have had me when they were younger. The bullying I received has left its mark. And Janet says nature shouldn't be messed around with.
We've also had one here from Kathy who says, I don't think there is a right age, but 65 is pushing it.
And Dee's just sent a text in. Absolutely, there is an age when a woman should not become pregnant, and that's when they're past their natural ability to become pregnant. These old women are not naturally pregnant, and medical intervention should not be offered above nature's natural age boundaries in any circumstances.
I think the problem there, though, is if you're talking about people who are unable to fall pregnant, what about younger women who need that medical intervention? I don't think it should be stopped and just left to nature in those circumstances.
It is a difficult one, isn't it? And again, this isn't a question that we ever really ask of fathers. You know, can a father be too old? I know medically not, but, you know, is it fair for older dads?
I think a lot of fathers want to be able to be active with their children.
Yeah.
I think that comes into it massively. Yeah. And I know that from my own perspective that my ex was, 40 when we had our first, and he got to an age where he said, I seriously don't want to be the granddad in the playground where actually I'm the father. And he wants to be outside kicking a ball around, and he's quite young for his age still, but at 54 there's no way that he would want to have a child now, because he wants to be active for that child.
Yeah, and I think too, you can imagine the dad at the football match, and when your little boy is, say, 9 or 10 years old, and you're a 75, 80-year-old father on the line, it doesn't really add up really properly, does it? And of course, when the boy or the girl becomes sort of like late teens, or just starting to go out in the career, the older parent may well not be around. So it's.
I think it's more important there, as with the football and everything. I think it's more important that there's love and there's someone there to support you, rather than whether they can join in or not. Surely.
Okay, but what about from an earning perspective? Like, say for instance, you've got to save for the future, but if you're having a child and the guy is 50 years old and he's due to retire at maybe 65, but the child wants to go to university, and exactly from a father's point of view, it's totally different.
I mean, clearly you've got to sit down if you're going to have children at an older age, lady or gentleman. You've got to really sit down and think about the whys and wherefores.
But the problem is, for some people, is that choice isn't available to them if they perhaps meet their partner at a younger age, an older age.
Yeah, and I think this is something that comes up a lot with my friends of my kind of age, kind of mid-20s, is that we're all saying, oh, no, we're not ready, we're just going to... It's not even in our sort of world view at the moment. And then you get such conflicting advice that says, actually, you've only got a few more years left, so you better get cracking.
The clock is ticking, Kate.
I retired last year when I turned 70, and I actually am one of those unusual people. I enjoy working. I love a structured day. I like the discipline of getting up in the morning and having to get ready and going out, and I like being with people and the interaction and so on. So I found myself with these days and trying to fill. So I had been doing some decluttering for friends, and they actually said to me, why don't you turn this into a business? So with my background, which I'm a trained window dresser, I'm a trained florist, I'm a trained fashion model. So I thought I could put it all together and do something constructive with those things that I had been trained in.
Do you know, Maggie, we're sitting in one of my front rooms here, and I'm actually just slightly embarrassed looking around at all the stuff that we have in here. Are you the sort of person that when you go round to a friend's house, you are looking quite critically at their place?
Beth, probably. I can't help it. I've got a tidy mind.
What's your house like?
Oh, everything is right in place. I have a flat and everything is colour coordinated, everything is in place, and I can see if anything has been moved, just to the slightest left or right. But that's how I enjoy living. I am a declutterer, and I am continuously getting rid of things, and I continuously look at my wardrobe. And I think if there's something that I haven't worn for too long, or that doesn't really look 100% good, it's got to go. And I believe you should move things on anyway, because when you hang on to things and hoard, it's almost like an emotional blackmail. So I'm very good about letting go and letting somebody else enjoy what I no longer need.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we hear about the word decluttering, particularly, I think, at this time of year when people are thinking about spring cleaning. But what is it about clutter? I mean, you talk about emotional blackmail, which is an interesting term. What is it about clutter that makes people feel bad?
Do you think it does make them feel bad? That's the whole thing. You see, cluttering would make me feel uneasy, but I think for a lot of people, perhaps they don't see it. It's not important in their life, and they enjoy it, because if you didn't, you would do something about it.
But would you do something about it, though? I mean, I think, personally, I'm not somebody who enjoys being surrounded by a lot of stuff, but I've got 3 children, and they have a lot of stuff, and I feel... Actually, I don't have a lot of choice about that. You know, it's toys and it's clothes and it's things, and I don't want them to grow up in a house where I am constantly at them to get rid of things, but I don't particularly enjoy it.
Well, I tell you what I did with my son. I only had one, and he could do whatever he liked up until 5 o'clock at night. And then all the toys had to go into a big basket, and everything had to be cleared away. And when he came home from school, he had to take his school uniform off, hang it up. His shirt went into the wash basket. And from the first time he was able to understand, you know, these are your shoes, you wear them, you dirty them, you clean them. Because I think discipline in one's life is very important, and I think you learn that from a very young age. Because it's very necessary for when you get older and you're faced with life and all sorts of things. I think if you're disciplined about stuff, you could probably cope a lot more than being in a sort of a frantic situation all the time.
And what sort of person has your son turned into?
He can wash, iron, cook. He can do everything. And I know he probably isn't as tidy as I am, but I know that he's in a flat chair. He lives in London, and you know, he will quite easily do his bit and say, "Oh no, I'm cleaning the flat today," or whatever it is. Or he'll phone me on Sunday nights and he'll just say, you know, "I'm busy doing my ironing." You know, so he's very capable.
The thing about getting rid of stuff is that people do become very attached to certain things. There is sentimental value to things which may seem inconsequential to other people. How do you deal with that aspect?
Do you know, I've never allowed anything to be too controlling about me, about myself, and so I don't find it very difficult. And I also have this thing that if you don't need it, you should pass it on for somebody who might enjoy it or need it. And that's always been a discipline of mine. Talking about it being difficult for some people, I can remember my friend saying to me she wanted her place decluttered, and she said, "I am so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start." And I said, "Don't worry, I'm on my way. We'll start with the first drawer in the kitchen." And we worked our way through the house. And I've been to her a couple of times, and each time she says she feels lighter and lighter.
If you were listening early this week, you may remember we spoke to Angie Eyre and Lindsay Quayle from Breakthrough Breast Cancer Isle of Man. It was all about their annual bra dashes that are taking place today and tomorrow. It's when ladies and gentlemen don a bra and dash through the streets.
Now, we don't expect you just to wear it on bare skin. Quite happy for you to wear it over your T-shirt. And we're dashing to raise awareness, really. That is the most important part of the dash. We're raising awareness of breast cancer, and we're having fun while we're doing it.
It's also fundraising, though.
It's certainly fundraising as well. And in the last 10 years, we've raised over £161,000 from a 10-minute dash. That's pretty good.
That's Angie Eyre from Breakthrough Breast Cancer Isle of Man. Well, the first 2 of this year, Douglas and Castletown, have been completed, and Chris Cave popped down to the Douglas Dash for Women Today earlier.
From left to right outside Marks and Spencer's car park, it's just turned into a sea of pink. Those who aren't wearing pink have been encouraged to wear free T-shirts being provided by Breakthrough Breast Cancer. And there's also a wide array of fancy dress. Pink wigs, multicoloured wigs, there's tutus, people dressed in a Pikachu onesie there is. Angie, the organiser, is on stilts. She's currently giving the instructions, as you can probably hear behind me, about the route of the bra dash here in Douglas.
No, this is my first time.
And are you doing it in your lunch hour?
Indeed I am, yes.
Can you just describe for listeners what you're wearing?
I'm wearing some pumps, a rather tight white shirt, a red brassiere, and 2 blown up balloons.
Yeah, the balloons are inside the bra, Kate, and I don't
Correct.
think it's one of yours from last year.
No, definitely not.
This is obviously to raise money for a good cause. Are you being sponsored today?
No, we're not being sponsored today, but we've got a group of office individuals who've all contributed to the day. So.
And you've got some rather nice large pink specs on, as well as your bra outside your top.
Absolutely.
Is this the first time you're doing the dash as well?
Yes, definitely, yeah. So guys at work decided to organise it, so thought I'd come down and support it. Such a good cause.
And why did you want to do the bra dash in your lunch hour?
Because we're stupid. Good cause. No, it's a good cause. I've not been touched by breast cancer directly, but I have by cancer, so anything cancer related is dear to my heart, so come out and support it.
How much fundraising activity do you do?
To be honest, not a great deal, but we do things for Comic Relief, all the big ones. We always do something within the company, so we always raise a bit of money, whatever's going on.
Now you can sort of walk, hop, skip, or jog to the line.
Stagger.
Are you going for the record?
What, the record slowest? I think we'll just be happy to get round and not freeze to death.
It may surprise you that I am not actually wearing a bra.
It does surprise me, Chris. It
I do realise it's lunchtime, or some people will still be having their lunch, so that could be an image that puts them off.
But you are doing the dash yourself.
I am, yes.
What are you wearing?
I'll be wearing a pink t-shirt and a pink headband. Not very imaginative for me, I have to admit.
Oh, Chris, well, we hope it goes
In
well.
my work shoes, though.
Well, let us know how you get on and how everyone else does too.
Well, Chris has, and we've heard the winner was Adam Boyd, who did it in 5 minutes and 28 seconds. Best dressed at the Douglas Dash was Jackie Turley, and the best team were from Marks and Spencer's, who wore bras from around the world. And Chris adds, Mo Farah doesn't run in brogues, and so I shouldn't either.
That's a bit of a blow for Mo. Not blow for Chris, anyway. Well, there's still a chance to get involved with the bra dashes and raise awareness and money for Breakthrough Breast Cancer Isle of Man. The Ramsey Dash is taking place at 12:30 tomorrow, and you can don your bras in Peel Joe at 2 o'clock.
I'll be there to watch.
Oh, come on now.
Unrestrained now. Don't mess with me. I'm sick of your twisted games now. One lump or two, I'll poison you. So screw you instead. I was misled. I'll wire your truck.
Well, as I mentioned, our guest this afternoon is the young singer-songwriter May Chalice. That is Liar Underneath that has played us into the programme today. Born in 1998 in Kent, she moved here to the Isle of Man in 2005 at the age of just 7. And May, by that time you were already developing your musical talents.
I've been singing since as far as I can remember, and I begged my mum for a guitar when I was 4, and I got one for Christmas when I was 6. And my mum gave me some lessons when I was 6, and so we had a year of them, moved here when I was 7, and just kind of took off from there, and I just carried on playing it on my own with my mum's help. It was really good.
So is your family very musical then?
My mum plays guitar with me, and my brother had the same lessons at the same time, but he's 2 years older than me, so but he was never really like into it like I was, so he doesn't really play anything, but they support me fully, which is really, really great. And yeah, so kind of, yeah.
Now, you said you really wanted to learn guitar at such a young age,
Yeah.
but the tutors were reluctant to take you on, and that's why your mum taught you.
Yeah. I mean, I think just because I was so young, when you get little kids and you think they're just, not going to do it. But I've just always had a feel for music, and so I thought, well, there's no point waiting for someone. Might as well just do it on our own, and we just did. It's really good.
And you were then given a piano by a family friend, and that was a real turning point, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't thank that coincidence enough, because it just really took off from there. Because everything on guitar, I started to understand more from piano, and I started having lessons when I was 9, and then I did grades with Ruth Solomon was my teacher, and she's so ace, and that was just really amazing to learn the theory side of things as well. And it helped me to learn both on guitar and piano, and then I went on to do grades on piano, which was really good. I enjoyed doing classical stuff as opposed to pop and rock and that kind of thing, so I like having being able to be versatile.
Who then would you say your musical inspirations are?
I would say my number one would be Freddie Mercury, just piano-wise, and he has the most amazing voice, or had, but I've always loved Queen. They've always been played in the family, my dad, we will rock you. So, yeah. And Oasis, I like Oasis.
I just wonder, just listening to that, I mean, you've got an incredibly mature sounding voice. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Who do you think you sound like? If you had to describe yourself as being like someone, who do you kind of try and emulate?
I'd say that's quite hard, really, because I wouldn't ever want to be like anyone other than myself, but I quite like Pink. I've had a few people say I'm a bit like Pink with like the short hair and a bit more of a kick to my music. So yeah, I'd probably go for Pink, but I don't know really.
And it's interesting you talk about the short hair and the image. How important is that to get the whole package?
I'd say it's pretty important because I like to express myself and I wouldn't want people to think I'm someone that I'm not. So with my music, I sing as me in my songs, and my appearance goes with that as well. And I like being a bit different. I like standing out. People say, "Oh, I grow your hair and have it long hair," but yeah, I like being different and standing out from the crowd.
Kate was very interested in something that you sent us some information about yourself, and you talked about listening to tapes on your Sony Walkman.
I'm so excited, May. It was so nice to have someone who's younger than me on the programme. And then it turns out you listen to music on a tape.
Indeed, I love tapes.
What was your first tape?
My first tape, I think it was a Kylie Minogue one.
Kylie. Do you know why? I remember my first tape, Bananarama. Remember yours, Jo?
I don't remember mine. It used to really annoy me though when they all that what do you call it? The tape itself used to you get I can't speak.
Do you know
that's you know what I'm trying to say, don't you?
You get those pictures now on Facebook, don't you? Of people showing you a tape and a pen and saying only people who were born in a certain time know the significance between those two things.
You got it right.
I had the Spice Girls on tape. I think that was mine. Yeah, I used to have my mum play that in the car whenever I could.
Oh, May, thank you so much for being our guest. We look forward to hearing about your fantastic success. You are certainly going to go far. To play us out, here is May's cover of Crazy. Until tomorrow, goodbye.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space.
Thanks as always to our amazing guests. And as ever, it's never too late for you to get involved. Head over to Facebook, find the Women Today Facebook page, and you can comment there, or you can follow us at MR Women Today on Twitter. And you can listen again to the full programmes on manxradio.com or join us every weekday live from just after 2 o'clock.